He transformed a commercial jet into a Batplane with his bare hands in mid-flight, and even then, he wasn't sure if that would be enough. Come on, heroes. It's time to tear the pages open and see what's behind them. The story opens with a mundane, almost ironic detail. The cruise announcement. Seatbelts, seats, tables, rehearsed tranquility. Gotham Air begins its descent, and the city emerges as a promise of landing. Gotham is never simply a destination. On the roof, Commissioner Gordon shares a secret with Batman that shouldn't exist outside of 2 offices in Washington. An operation at Fort Marshall, poorly explained and buried in memos, ended with 3 surface-to-air missiles in the wrong hands. 2 have already been recovered in a precise strike against Cobra. The 3rd, vanished into the labyrinth of the Narrows. 1 man, 1 trigger, 1 metropolis. The dialogue between the 2 works like clockwork. Gordon asks for Batman's phone number with weary humor, as if trying to tame a myth. Batman responds with a map, time, and range, a cold calculation attempting to stem the tide. But then comes the sound that breaks the night. Come! We don't need to see the projectile to understand the tragedy. The cockpit inverts its axis, the vertical stabilizer becomes an open wound, and the narrative shifts scale. We no longer talk about research, but about physics. Now it's about weight, drag, torque, altitude, collision course. Alfred enters like a heart that knows how to operate in the dark. His voice is a metronome. The central hydraulic system compromised. The redundancies won't hold. The loss of control is total. There's no such thing as a belly landing at this point. Bruce asks for the estimated fall time. 6 minutes. 6 minutes on a Saturday night in Gotham Square. Crowds, lights, distracted hearts. It's the worst possible stage for the tragedy that unfolds. And yet it's precisely the stage where Batman chooses to act. The tactical response is immediate. Bruce calls on Duke Thomas, still in training, but with the eyes of an engineer and the nerves of a test pilot, and tries to contact the League. Alfred's update cuts that hope with British elegance. Everyone's busy, some off-planet, others fighting monsters. It's a polite way of saying, don't count on miracles, count on your city. And in Gotham, miracles often wear black. Duke analyzes the urban landscape like someone reading musical notation. Robinson Bridge, second marker, 122 miles per hour, 1.2 seconds off the mark, 37-degree incline, 13-degree roll. It's the mathematical music that dictates Bruce's choreography. The Batmobile becomes a catapult, the engine roars, the world narrows to an escape route, and when the suspension releases the asphalt, the narrative leaps along with it. Jet boots, air bursting in the visor, a target the size of a neighborhood. On board, humanity fractures. A passenger breaks down in a monologue that bleeds out an uncomfortable truth. In any other city, a god would come and pick us up. In Gotham, however, faith always comes first through fear. They don't ask who will save us, but what do we deserve? It's the unwritten rule of this mythology. Here, power doesn't cancel out consequences. Here, the line between victim and accomplice is sometimes as thin as a bad Joker joke. The script allows this pain to exist without paternalism. They are civilians, yes, but also inhabitants of a city that has internalized chaos to the point of transforming it into its identity. Bruce regains narrative control through engineering. Kane Plaza, 1,452 feet. Impossible to clear the top with the torn tail. Finger Tower, neighboring building, 140 feet lateral distance. Wingspan of the 747, 196. The air corridor is narrower than the machine was designed to handle. Still, it's through this funnel that he decides to pass, because in Batman, the solution is rarely elegant. It's ice, and precision hurts. Climbing the fuselage, he anchors himself where most collapse. Alfred monitors the vitals, calculates the time it takes for a breath to pass, and faces a question no butler should ever hear from the son he raised. Would they be proud? Is this a good death? The pause that follows weighs more than metal. Alfred, who saw the child swear war at his parents' grave, and the man become the general of a cause without armistice, answers from the only place possible, stubborn love. Yes, sir. It is a blessing and a sentence. And then, the maneuver. 56% port, 48% starboard. The outer jets gulp air and spit fire. The wing surface becomes an improvised rudder, and the 747 an animal born for stability, begins to behave as if it has a personality. For a few seconds, the world is reduced to angles and numbers, a fraction less of thrust, and they hit concrete, a fraction more, and they break the wing, spinning like scissors above the square. The tension works because the script understands the difference between decorative risk and real risk. There are passengers with names. There are ground staff waiting for families. There is a flight attendant in transit trying to prevent sirens from becoming litanies. It is then that Alfred raises the objection that no co-pilot wants to formulate. Outside, at the mouth of the impact, there is no possible survival. For the plane to enter Blackgate Gulf at an angle that preserves lives, someone needs to remain exposed, guiding a blind titan with their own arms. It's not performative heroism, it's a trade-off. The script abandons the discourse of invincibility to recover what makes Batman greater than his arsenal. The commitment to foot the entire bill when no one else can. He leaves messages. He speaks of a safe behind a Goya painting, of recommendations for students who shouldn't stop, of a code that ends conversations and opens wills. The detail is important because it reestablishes human scale. Bruce is methodical, yes. He's also a father, a mentor, and the heir to a pain that he tries to convert into service. When he asks again if it would be a good death, he's not asking for applause. He's checking alignment with the purpose that has driven him since the first night. The collision is written as a silence. There's no lengthy pyrotechnic description, and that makes it all the more powerful. When metal touches water with the weight of hundreds of lives, we feel the echo because of what came before, the method, the affection, the guilt, the decision. And it's in this vacuum that the script introduces a twist. Between the foam and the smoke, two unprecedented symbols emerge. Batman, it's an honor. The man introduces himself as Gotham, his partner as Gotham Girl. Two names so literal they border on blasphemy, and yet perfect for the grammar of this city. They are not visitors. They announce themselves as the city itself, trying to save itself. The dramatic effect isn't just new characters on the scene, it's rewriting the equation. If Gotham has always functioned like a living organism, with owls in its bones and venomous jokes in its blood, what does it mean when the city decides to don a cape of its own accord? For Bruce, the question isn't, are they strong, but under what rules do they operate? Because Gotham has already taught us, power without a code becomes tyranny with a cape. And if these two believe they are the city, the line between salvation and judgment could become blurred in a way that even the Bat with his protocols couldn't anticipate. The text subtly plants this idea. The way Gotham addresses Batman is respectful, yet assertive. There's no subservience, only a proposed partnership. This is our city. We're here to save it. It's an affirmation of shared dominance. For a protector who has always assumed total responsibility, sharing the wheel with an urban avatar can be the greatest test of humility, or the greatest threat to his mission. And that's where the spark for the next chapter lies. Also, take note of Duke. He's not just a tech support on the phone. He executes the maneuver with an environmental awareness that few could achieve in the heat of the moment. This organically places him in the lineage of students who do more than obey. They add tactical intelligence to the myth. When Bruce recommends that, in his absence, Dick Grayson take over the boy's education, it's not a random gesture. It's the curation of a method that combines audacity with a sense of community. Gotham isn't saved by one man. Gotham is saved by a system of choices repeated until they become culture. And Alfred? He's the linchpin. The scene where he states that his parents would be proud doesn't function as cheap consolation, but as an acknowledgement of a decades-long pact. It's the voice that says, I've seen you fall and get up too many times to confuse courage with recklessness, when he maintains his composure on the radio. The script lends us, the readers, that same self-control. We breathe because he breathes. That's how greatness is narrated without shouting. Gotham's rule: hope comes at a cost, victory leaves a scar. Batman, like transforming a 747 into a Batplane, methodically converts the world's burdens into direction, one small adjustment at a time, ensuring the city's survival. If this resonated, share in the comments which of Bruce's decisions in this chapter best reveals the Gotham Code and why. If this video reaches 2,000 comments with honest analysis, we'll cover Gotham and Gotham Girl, origin, limits, and the impact when the city itself takes on a mask. Like, subscribe, and share with those who call Gotham just chaos, because today, we saw its methodical nature, and tomorrow, we'll prove it again.